Today we look at the send-off ceremony for the Canadian soldier contingent that's going to Nijmegen in Holland, and we're going to have a couple of brief interviews with the participants.
Thank you to those who have joined us this morning to bid the contingent a bon voyage. I've never marched 160 kilometers in 4 days, burdened with the heavy rucksack, enduring sun, the rain, blisters on my legs, feet, but I've heard that it's a lot more fun than it sounds. In fact, Nijmegen marchers are renowned as a supreme test of physical and mental endurance, and that I can believe. Marching 40 kilometers a day for 4 straight days is not for faint hearts, weak wills, or tender feet.
It's nice to see that the first-time volunteers, of which there are many standing in front of me, for this challenge will benefit from the mentorship of 20 within the overall contingent who have taken on this test before, some of whom are on parade here today, proudly wearing their Nijmegen medals, including Mr. Dennis Stowe from the Legion. I know you've all trained hard for this march, and you understand that it will be both a physical and an emotional test for you. You're going to be joined by more than 45,000 marchers from over 50 different nations, and this in itself is an absolutely amazing experience. It will be made more amazing as you reflect on the fact that you're tracing some of the steps of the brave young Canadians who fought to liberate the Netherlands in 1944 and 1945, so many of whom made the ultimate sacrifice. Nothing will drive this point home for you more than your arrival in Grosbeek Canadian Military Cemetery on the afternoon of day 3 of the march. This will be undoubtedly a truly humbling experience for you, having an opportunity to visit the grave sites of more than 2,300 Canadians who did not come home from that campaign. While the friendship between our two nations has a solid foundation in the past, it's being cemented and reinforced by our mutual efforts in Afghanistan, where our soldiers share many risks, hardships, and a common desire to help a people in need. It's going to be tough, without question, and it's going to be memorable for you in so many different ways. Good luck to all of you. Enjoy yourselves. I know you're going to do us proud.
This 4-day Nijmegen March has become a tradition that is nearly a century old. At the beginning of the last century, it was introduced as a result of a concern about the level of the physical fitness of the civilian population, but more particularly of military personnel. Now, that was then, it's not now. The march was designed to test not only fitness and endurance, but also, more importantly, the willpower to complete a tough challenge. Those who finish the march will receive a medal that has official status in the Netherlands. I have noticed that many of you, Canadian soldiers, have already one or more of these medals, and the person that I spoke to not so long ago, I think, had 15. I couldn't believe what I saw. You will get a medal, and you will enjoy your stay in my home country, the Netherlands. Bring home those medals. Enjoy the hospitality of the Dutch people in the area where I was born and raised. And remember, the Canadians are still the liberators of our country, the Netherlands. God bless.
With this year being the 90th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, I know that you all look forward to this special pilgrimage to that recently rededicated monument. The Legion is pleased to offer you the opportunity to visit this iconic Canadian site as part of your trip to the Nijmegen Marches. For Canadians, remembrance is a big part of this special 4-day event, and while I know that you will represent Canada well during the marches, your visits to Vimy Ridge and the graves at Grosbeek will be a sobering moment for all of you. There are more than 7,600 Canadians buried in the soil of the Netherlands. And the Dutch have made a commitment to never forget our forefathers' sacrifice. Your return for the marchers is but one way that we Canadians show them that we will not forget either. You will return from those marches with a sense of accomplishment at what you have achieved, as well as a sense of pride in what those who rest in foreign lands achieve for this nation also. It is your heart that is the strongest muscle in this venture.
You've done this march before. Could you tell me what it's like?
Very long, and it can get painful and tedious, and really trying mentally, actually, mostly mentally. It's a lot of mental anguish. Lots.
So along the way, do you camp along the way? Is that sort of the thing, or how does that work out?
Well, we sing, a lot of singing, talking to a lot of the locals that are around, giving out souvenirs, Canadian flags to all the children, and so forth, and just trying to make by with whatever you can, just to keep your mind alive.
Okay. And what kind of reaction is it that you get from the people in the Netherlands? I've heard that they're very friendly with Canadians. What's your personal impression?
They're very good to Canadians. I've seen elderly folk who've been around from the Second World War who would come up to you and give you a hug because they'd be so appreciative. So you actually get an actual better understanding of what Canada's part was back during World War II, and it was very just moving for myself.
So did you actually get to some of the grave sites and the memorials along the way? What's it like to walk up to a grave site?
Emotional, very. Originally, I was born in Latin America, and to come to Canada then be part of the military and see the graves, and just you get the more essence of what it was in terms of those days, and it really hits you really well. It's amazing. You're very eerie. So
it's great fun, and I enjoy the aims of the march, and the people of Holland are certainly great, and the most outstanding features, of course, are visiting our deceased in the Groesbeek Cemetery, and visiting Vimy Ridge while we're over there. The march is tough, and it's an excellent method for training young officers how to lead a small section of people through the tough training period and the actual marches on the ground, and that's the challenging part about it. I'm very fortunate. I have never had a blister in all my marches, and I enjoy that aspect of the physical fitness part of it, and so I can enjoy the full flavor of the Nijmegen week and plus the march. I mean, it's just a great experience.
Tell me, sir, what's it like to stand on foreign soil and gaze down at a cemetery marker, and how do you feel as a Canadian? What does that? What kind of emotions and thoughts does that bring out?
Well, certainly, and I visited. I was stationed in Europe for 3 years, and I visited most of the Canadian cemeteries in Europe. But in Holland, there seems to be an extra sense of remembrance because of the liberation of the people there, and the manner in which they look after the cemeteries, and knowing that the war was just about ending, and we still lost all those souls, the 2,300 souls in Groesbeek. It makes me feel proud as a Canadian that the country stood by and did our share during the Second World War and any war that we've been participating in, as currently is happening now.
How do you think this affects the troops overall?
I think, as was said in the speeches today, it's an extra motivation, I think, to finish the 4 days, and by seeing the crowds of people, the senior citizens are out in their wheelchairs in every small village we go through, cheering us on, and it adds motivation to the young marchers' ability to finish the march. It's clearly a strong support.
It certainly is a mental and physical challenge, from what I'm told, for the participants in the Nijmegen March. For MPTV, I'm Bruce Sutherland.